I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and this is the Pipe Bomb. Hey, who loves a good monthly payment exclusive streaming service, am I right? Okay, that's all the references to extra I'm going to make in this video. I want to talk to you about the WWE Network. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you have the WWE Network, the streaming service, production house, and most venerable wrestling archive in the Western world, if not the world entire, and that's all yours for a certain amount of money, I forget. Now, this isn't me being a shill for WWE, but even on launch day back in February 2014, the network was stupidly good value, and it's gotten better with time. Raw replays, NXT, 205 Live, documentaries, Holy Foley if you want to see a nice old man smother his legacy to death over 30 minutes every week, more than 30 years of pay-per-views from WWE, nearly 20 years of pay-per-views from WCW and the NWA, all of ECW is on there, old AWA stuff, Smoky Mountain, WCCW, that's right, look at my massive hipster cock and balls. Truth is, I don't really watch a lot of old wrestling, not like Adam Pacitti, who listed Lou Thesz as one of his 10 greatest wrestlers of all time. Next time you meet him, ask him what his favourite Lou Thesz match is, not over Twitter so he's got time to Google one, ask him in person, the tall f***ing liar. One of the biggest, if not the biggest selling points of the network is every future pay-per-view is included in the price. That's right, instead of buying the show via pay-per-view, they're all streamed directly to the network, and WrestleMania now costs $9.99. SummerSlam costs $9.99, and with 2 pay-per-views a month, the B-shows are essentially $5 each. Now my question is this too cheap? Is WWE psychologically undermining its own product with a smaller price tag? Or conversely, has the WWE Network given the product more freedom than ever before? Because the answer may not be as clear as you think. Basically, the network has, as you'd expect, kicked WWE's pay-per-view business in the dick. Before the introduction of the network, pay-per-view buys for WrestleMania averaged at just over 1 million, Royal Rumble about 500,000, SummerSlam 300 to 400k, with everything else averaging at about 200,000-ish. You Survivor Series, basically. These are very loose numbers, but mostly consistent in the 5 years before the network. Now, post-network, even for the biggest shows, a year after the network was introduced, WrestleMania 31 received a 76% drop in buys, then WrestleMania 29, the last Mania before the network was introduced. Considering that Mania cost $60, that drop equated to about $50 million of pay-per-view revenue that just wasn't there anymore. Now, that's just Mania. The non-Big Four pay-per-views don't get much more than 75,000 buys these days. Well, now, this has been a lot of numbers so far. How about a break where we look at some really funny pictures of Brock Lesnar? Here he is on a motorbike. Cool. Here he is aged 15. Radical. Here's Brock Lesnar holding a shark. And just in case we forgot, here's Brock Lesnar on the motorcycle again. Cool. Let's move on. In the first quarter of 2016, WWE got 153,000 buy rates total. In January 2014, 1 month before the network launched, the Royal Rumble received 517,000 buys by itself. The pay-per-view income for WWE is a shell of what it used to be, and the message is clear. The vast amount of WWE's fan base are watching on the network. But again, this isn't a surprise because you can get everything for cheaper on the network. After all, $10 for Clash of Champions sounds a whole lot better than 45 wham-whams, am I right? And the most recent figure for the number of paying members on the network is just over 1.458 million. So theoretically, more eyes on all pay-per-views than ever before, yeah? Which should go some way towards compensating the much lower pay-per-view revenue, right? Well, yes and no. From a financial standpoint, WWE is doing fine, well, except for the wrestlers who've seen their pay-per-view bonuses also kicked in the dick by the network. They used to get a certain percentage of the pay-per-view revenue via a formula that's f***ing complicated as balls, but that's all been wiped out for the mid and lower card talent. The top talent's still taken care of, but everyone else gets shafted. That sucks, but that's not where I'm slightly concerned that the network may be hurting WWE. See, looking at buy rates figures from the last decade or so, the casual fan tends to pay for WrestleMania and maybe SummerSlam and the Rumble. Whereas now, for less than the cost of those 3, they can get all 12 pay-per-views. The casuals can pay about the same for more, and the hardcore fans pay much less. But see, a pay-per-view's value isn't just a dollar tag, or a pay-per-view's value, its inherent worth, that can be psychological as well. Some wrestling fans are always going to be angry folk, but the fact that in our minds we're all paying less for our pay-per-views now, I guess we should not call them pay-per-views even, we should just call them, I don't know, specials, means that we attach a lower value to them psychologically and emotionally. After all, if we go out to an expensive restaurant, that hefty price tag goes some way towards making it feel more significant than going to your local Wimpy. Look it up, America. It elevates the experience. You expect more from it. Expectations are higher. Case in point, Clash of Champions again. Not much happened, but fans weren't up in arms about that because to them, with 2 specials that month, that show cost $5. Fans weren't wowed by it at all, but certainly weren't going to cancel their subscriptions. The company really lost nothing, whereas under the pay-per-view model, that that show would have cost 9 times as much. If you're shelling out that much of the sweet dough, you expect more in return. People have often theorized that the lack of the kind of competition it used to get from WCW has made WWE creatively complacent and stagnant. I agree with that, but I also think the network's lower price point on all of its shows fuels that as well. The WWE is no longer in competition with its fan base's requirement to get $45 worth of entertainment from their shows. In some cases, $60. My point is, by keeping the monthly price point and upping the number of shows, the value of the average special has dropped. By doing that, are WWE conditioning their fans to expect less from their shows? Are lesser creative decisions not impacting us as much as they should because the hit to our wallets isn't as severe? Now, I don't know about you, but since the network, and especially since the brand split, there have been whole stretches of uninspired specials. Part of the reason I enjoyed Backlash was the fact that I didn't care about it at all, which is pretty really, from a wrestling fan. This cause and effect has been seen elsewhere in WWE history. The older fans might remember when the in-your-house model of pay-per-views was introduced in 1995. Before that, the pay-per-views WWE produced were the Big Four, or Big Five if you included King of the Ring. The in-your-house concept was a slightly shorter pay-per-view than a Big Four event for a smaller cost. Unfortunately, the lesser cost also coincided with booking of a lesser value. The first main event of the first in-your-house pay-per-view ended in a DQ caused by Tatanka and Ted DiBiase. That sounds like a good time. In the first 4 in-your-house pay-per-views, 3 of them ended in either DQ or a screwy reversed finish. But hey, it's cheaper, right? What do you want? That's because big picture-wise, WWE was booking from Big Four show to Big Four show with in-your-house shows a lesser priority, and that started to feel the case again. Even more so, in fact, with WWE recently making the decision to make every Big Four show a weekend-long extravaganza, 4-hour shows, takeover beforehand, bells, whistles, and Lesnar's galore. It's understandable, but with so many of these cheap specials in the middle, it feels like WWE is only firing on full cylinders 4 times a year and coasting for the rest of it. But hey, it's only $5. What do you want? Is that entitled of me? Well, yeah, maybe. I pay less, maybe I should get less. But the B shows of yore genuinely felt bigger, and I don't think that's nostalgia. It's because if WWE didn't make you care about bloody Night of Champions 2011, then they would suffer an immediate, tangible financial impact. They weren't going to get your 45 big ones. Now, maybe I've just got event fatigue, but to me, the value of your average WWE special feels, well, less special than ever before, and that is important. If the Big Four shows are the ones where you pull out all the big surprises and they're the ones you bring your old or part-time talent back for, that furthers the chasm between the top talent on the main roster and the top talent on the bigger shows, which is detrimental to long-term roster growth. But that's the negative. Let's look at some positives. It's not all doom and gloom. In fact, while the glut of specials and the safety net of not costing much might be insulating WWE from feeling immediate monetary effects from a being generous lack of inspiration right now, it could be seen as freeing. And we've already seen WWE make a stab at some different stuff. At No Mercy, they tried opening with the WWE title match, and they could have maybe used that opportunity to have the IC title main event a pay-per-view. That would have been nice. They had Charlotte and Sasha Banks main event a show. They had an incredibly hyped match between Lesnar and Goldberg end in 86 seconds. Now, this ain't UFC. They engineered that, and if you were paying $50 for that storytelling, you might be, quote, fucked off to shit. Some fans are, even with the lower price point. But you see, it's lesser because this and all the other risky decisions are more kosher because, hey, it's $9.99. Now, some of these riskier decisions didn't work, but if they keep experimenting, it could make our calendar more interesting. So, I want to be optimistic, but also, having said that, it's TLC and Roadblock in 1 month. I'm just so tired. Still, I've got extra money in my pocket. I can go buy something that actually makes me excited. And considering this is my job, that's quite depressing. So do you feel the same about the value of WWE specials right now? Are you looking on the bright side? Let me know. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and that was the Pipe Bomb.